all that kind of stuff. I just look at it as music, but I feel sorry for anybody who only listens to one form of music.
Unsigned, you're listening to the Freeza Block Show. Local, milehigh.underground.com. Unsigned, local artists, unsigned artists. Music you may have never heard before, music you'll want to hear again. All right here on the Freeza Block Show.
Welcome in. It is the Freeza Block Show. Thanks everybody for listening in and being alongside. We're running a little bit late, but that's, all kinds of traffic and all kinds of good stuff. But hey, man, I'm glad you're here, and we're all here together. We have Dead Orchids in the studio, so very happy to have them on in here, indeed. And thank you guys so much for being in here. It is so good. And again, I know it was a pain in the ass to get here, so let's give you guys some applause. Indeed, Dead Orchids in the studio. And tell us a little bit about what kind of music it is, for the folks that are listening in for the first time and never maybe heard of Dead Orchids and, want to discover some new music, some great music and good stuff that I have.
That's always the hardest part, trying to explain it. It's like a psychedelic rock, kind of a down tempo kind of thing. I don't really know how to describe it beyond that. It's storytelling with a lot of dynamics to it. So there's times where it's real quiet, times where it's real loud. That's the best I can describe it. We can't.
Yeah, I like that you're not really boxing yourself in. Oh, we're a rock band, we're an indie band, we're a ska band. You know what I'm saying? You guys just like to play good music and what comes through, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What it feels, right?
Definitely.
How long have you guys been a band? As a band, I'm sure this might not be like your first incarnation.
It is definitely not.
6 years.
8 years.
8 years.
That Danny and I have been together.
We've done some different things prior to where we're at now.
Yeah, it's just kind of evolved.
How did that? Well, let's talk about the evolution a little bit. Since
when we very first started, we wrote one piece of music that was 6 or 7 sections.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 22 minutes long. Very storytelling of like these two kids like fighting good and evil. We played that around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
No one really liked it except for us.
I really liked it.
I thought it was great. Then we played, we wrote like a sequel to it, which was kind of a what do you call it? What was the way that we described it? It was like basically like everything that people need to get on with their lives, whether it's coffee, sex, drugs, whatever.
Addiction.
Like
it was a lot about addiction.
Yeah. And for folks who are listening that are Dead Orchids fans for the first time, that bell is for a hit or a shot. It doesn't necessarily have to be weed or alcohol, but just a little something to get you right on through the rest of this interview and your life. And also when we make a good point. So, hey,
I wish
take
we
your
knew
pick.
that we were playing that game.
Yeah, well, it's just for the folks at home. So go ahead and break it on out, folks. All the fans out there. Indeed.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of times when I have people like say, oh my God, I love this. It's stuff that they're like, I like being high to this. I like, not that I'm encouraging like the drug use, but just people, that's what they're like, I could totally just.
Yeah, it's very much a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a groovy deal.
Yeah.
It's not what you listen to and brush your teeth in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but probably not. Probably not.
I know I could, at least on Saturdays, man.
Yeah,
I used to.
Depends on the night before. Yeah.
Indeed. We are joined by Dead Orchids. It's
Danny and Robin.
And of course, I should know that, but hey, you know what? We're just trudging along here, and indeed.
Roll, baby.
And there are a lot of other members of this band, so this is a good time to go ahead and let's give them some shout outs and stuff.
Shout them out.
Yeah,
well,
tell them what they do.
We got Joe. That's our little Jeezy. He plays keys, but also does some percussion and some backup. He's got quite the double duty. His job is hard. And then we have Brooke, who just joined us a month or so ago, and she's playing cello. Yeah. So she's been a really great addition to this sound. It's really like made it, I don't know. don't even know how to explain it.
Thicker.
She elevated it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Definitely.
No doubt
definitely.
about it.
A lot more ambiance
Mhm.
and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So
I-
that's just the two. It's just the four of us.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
you know what? When I saw you guys at Goosetown Tavern a couple of months ago, I noticed your setup was a little bit different than everybody
Mhm.
else's. I like how you guys, set up your stage, man.
Thanks.
Tell a little bit of folks about that, and what goes into that, and why you guys even do it that way.
Yeah. Well, we got tired of drummers. And so we decided we didn't need them
I'll just
anymore.
give you that one.
We decided we didn't need one anymore. It was actually Danny's idea. He came and said, well, in the meantime, like didn't know if we were going to get a new drummer or what we were going to do. And so in the meantime, let's try this. Let's just try it, see what happens. So we did a small show at Deer Pile.
Deer Pile, yeah. Above City City.
Yeah, up above City City.
Capitol Hill.
And the feedback was amazing, really. Like, I can't believe you haven't already done this, and don't ever stop doing this. And the biggest compliment that I think we've gotten is drummers coming up saying, you guys don't need a drummer. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, tell us about tell us a little bit about what you guys do to substitute
A lot
beat or,
a lot of the music is there's points where like you're not going to do anything, and it's really hard to get musicians that are talented and say, hey, don't play. Like, you're really good at whatever, bass guitar, don't play the bass for like 40 seconds. Like, people have a real hard time with that. Drummers especially just want to play something all the time. And so the easiest thing, what we were kind of pushing towards that anyways with what we were writing, when back then we were a 4-piece without cello, and it was harder and harder to say, hey, just lay back, just don't do anything, let's make this stuff really dynamic. And so it was very natural to start kind of taking over things ourselves and saying, okay, well, we don't need a kick drum here, and then when we do need a kick drum, I'll just hit the kick drum. And then we just kind of started building from the real basic idea of like, kind of like in a folk sense, it was a kick drum and a tambourine is what we very first started with. Let's just try this. And then it was like, okay, well, we need a snare. So then we moved the snare. I had the snare, then Joe had the snare. Then it was like, okay, sometimes we need something else. So we got a floor tom. And before you know it, it's like, so basically we have a whole drum set split between Joe and I playing the actual drums, and then Robin's playing a hi-hat and like tambourines. So it's kind of like a combination of saying, okay, I'm going to do the kick drum, so I shouldn't do whatever, the bells. So then
Right.
you start doing the bells. Like, so it wasn't like, we didn't really sit down and say, hey, I'm going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do this. We kind of moved stuff around a lot, really experimented for a good like 4 months of hating each other, hating what we're doing.
That's a true story too.
And then it really started to like
Took
take
years.
stride. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we're still a work in progress.
Let me stop you for a second there, and let's talk about that frustration and that struggle that you guys had there for a little while, and how you guys worked through it, and all that, because a lot of times, like you said, that was true. You guys were really hating on it, and and it was hard. What made you guys keep going and not just say, hey, you know what, this is bull, we're done?
I think because we knew, the three of us knew ultimately that it was going to be good. Like, we were onto something, here's Danny making me do things that I had never done before, never thought that I could do. You have 2 feet, use them. I can't. I'm not a drummer. I don't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So it just was kind of learning these new talents for all of us, and just like figuring out our place in this new configuration. And once we got more comfortable, it became a little easier. But yeah, really, we kind of just, I mean, I can't speak for them. I literally had to learn how to play like these things, and play while I'm playing, and play while I'm playing while I'm singing. It was just, it was hard.
Getting a good vibe with all of that. It's one thing to be able to do everything. It's much harder to get the drums to really feel like their own unit, and to get that feeling conveyed within the song is really complicated. I mean, I think for any musician, that's the hardest thing, is actually playing a song well, like with the feeling that
goes
with it, you know.
That's kind of where I was kind of leading to. Then once you guys kind of got started to used to the fact that, okay, I'm going to be throwing another instrument on, you know, I'm doing double duty, the timing and all that stuff, how long did that take for you guys to, or you got, like you said, you're probably still working on that,
yeah,
right?
It's
For
always
sure.
it's always something you gotta work on. You can't, we're no New York Dolls getting wasted and getting on stage. Like it's just not, your brain can't function like that. I mean, it's tried.
Well, playing, you know what?
We made
failed.
the mistake of
Playing the type of music that you
pretending
guys,
like we could.
yeah, to play quality type of music that you want to play. Yeah, it's not going to be like that. That's for sure, man. But indeed, we have Dead Orchids in the studio. It's Robin and Dan. Danny or Dan? How do we?
Either way.
Either way, it's good, man. You're real cool about that, man. Real cool guy. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Danny, for Dead Orchids, aside from playing a little bit of drums, because everybody plays drums in this band.
Yeah.
But tell us about your specialty instrument and kind of how you got started doing it, man.
I started playing guitar when I was probably like 9 years old. I convinced my mom to get all of my savings out of my account, which I think was less than $300, and buy a PV Predator guitar. And I started playing, and she thought it was a bad idea. And it was a bad idea, of course, because I'm still doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
And I just
give them that one too.
Yeah, I just kept going basically, and I don't know.
I mean, you're
I don't
still
know what to
doing
say
it.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
I play
man.
guitar all the time.
Well, what made you want to play guitar as opposed to playing bass or playing?
I have
you know, anything
no
else,
answer
you know?
to that.
Just because, huh?
I don't know, because it took a really long time to want to play in front of people, or to try and like get a persona that you have on stage, or like none of that interests me as much as playing and writing songs. And then one day I realized that that's actually what you're supposed to do with the songs after you write them. And I was really slow to that. So it wasn't for fame or anything like that. I mean, it was just from a very strange, like,
just
a vehicle basically to, you know, get my brain moving.
Just the love of the music itself, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. And I love that, that you're not really motivated. You guys aren't, you know, we're not trying to make a buttload of money. We're doing it from our hearts.
Yeah.
And that's the best kind of music, I think, man, because it's, you know, you guys aren't, there's no agenda other than just having the music out there.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Well, and you talked about, or asked about how, you know, we worked through the frustration. And I feel like part of that was that stopping wasn't really an option, you know, because it's just not.
Yeah, you just keep going until you
think about
figure it
not
out.
doing it for a minute, and then you're like, well, that's not.
Yeah, the second you stopped it, you were like, it just doesn't feel right.
Right.
What am I going to do with my time?
Right, exactly.
No doubt about it. We have one half of Dead Orchids in here. We have Danny and Robin, and they're we're so very happy to have them in here. Man,
We're very happy
I'm
to be
mixing it all
here.
up today. Indeed. Like I said, I saw you guys at Goosetown Tavern, and I just fell in love. I thought you guys were so good.
Thank you.
And yeah, just a great sound, really good, different kind of sound. And of course, like the way you guys set up, like I said, with the drums, it's a completely different deal, man. And folks, I really encourage you guys to go and check them out. You guys have some shows coming up here in the near future, or what do you guys have plans with?
We're doing some stuff in December. We're doing a speakeasy show that Glass Records is putting on. It's going to be below Hooked on Colfax. So we're going to play that. It's a little bit of an earlier show. It's kind of cool. It's like literally in a basement. It's earlier, so it's not like a venue per se. Obviously, you can get your caffeine fix on. And then we're going to play a show in Pueblo
that night
in Colorado Springs. Yeah.
The same day.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Colorado Springs the next day.
Wow.
December the 8th at Zodiac, right?
Zodiac, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Rainbow
cool.
Room in Pueblo.
So make sure to check them out. It's Dead Orchids. They have a Facebook page. Checked out that Facebook page. It leads you right to their website if they got one. And of course, from the website, you guys can check out the music. Indeed, and they have a lot of good stuff out there on Spotify and all that good stuff, man. So make sure to check them out. Give them some love. Give them a liking and a thumbing and all that good stuff. It is Dead Orchids in the studio, man. Awesome stuff, man. I love the fact that you guys, like I said, you guys just are just doing it for the fact that. Just for the music. Tell us about the name Dead Orchids, where that kind of thing came from, and you know how how we was that just like a random thing, or did we kind of have a long time to come up with it?
We kind of wanted to. A lot of the lyrics have like kind of dual meanings or like two perspectives, or it's way more complicated than most people probably even get into it. But so we kind of wanted to do the same thing with the name, so it was a little bit misleading. I like when someone says something dead, because in your mind that's like the worst thing, but to us it was like the opposite. Orchids basically never die. Even when you think they're dead, they're just not blooming. So it's kind of a joke, but when you write it down and you put it next to all these other dead bands, it sure sounds like a metal
it does,
or a
yeah.
stoner rock thing or something.
Yeah.
So
it does, surprised. But I love the name, and anytime I talk about the name Dead Orchids, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Even if they haven't heard your music or anything, that's cool. So again, check them out, Dead Orchids, Facebook, their webpage, and all the assorted different media outlets that they have their stuff on, man. Good stuff, man. I really appreciate it. And wow, it's good to have you guys in. We're going to go ahead and play a song since you guys decided to bring one on in here. And let's see what we got here. This song is called, is this the one you got, Heroin?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about it before we kind of get into it. And
oh, it's funny. Heroin has been with us since the very, very beginning. It's one of the first songs
we've
been playing. It's had many different lives.
We rewrote it 3 times, basically, and this seems to be the best one. The last one also.
Yeah,
you're tired of messing with it, huh?
It's been riding through us with all our evolving and just every time it doesn't go away. So
sometimes it's nice to go back to an old song and rework it, and that's basically what we did. And this is it. Yeah, you're gonna hear it, and it's
just pretty freshly recorded. So it's not been released yet or anything.
Oh man, I should play my little exclusive deal, but we'll hold off on that today, man. Indeed, this song is called Heroin, as in a female character that might be a superhero, or not the kind of heroin you put in your body. So
that's right. That is right.
All right here on MileHighUnderground.com. It is the Freeza Block Show, Dead Orchids.
She whispers to me on and on. Do you want me? Do you want me to love you? Do you want me to hate loving you? And there's no fine lines in love, and go on and just kiss me. A little somewhere before I go to sleep. Just one more moon encircle the night. I'm with you, and let us push on before there is something new. Look into my eyes. Is this heaven? Is this heaven? I don't know. Just can't before I go to sleep, just one more
Dead Orchids, good stuff, man. Oh, I almost forgot to give you guys my. I got to give you guys my applause button. Man. I always forget about that. Indeed. Yes, Dead Orchids in the studio. It's Danny and Robin, and respectively one half of Dead Orchids. And and like you said, it was it was tough for you guys, to kind of start getting this group together, or was it, and after, it was your deal first, right, Danny, and then, or was it Danny and Robin?
No, it was always Danny and Robin.
Yeah, okay.
We started it together.
Yeah, and then did you guys have auditions or anything like that, or how did we kind of go about acquiring the other crew?
For the drummers that we had, Craigslist kind of thing.
Yeah.
The two that we have right now, though, no, Joe is an old friend of ours. We've known for about as long as we've known each other.
Yeah.
And then Brooke just actually was a fan, and the more we got to know her, I didn't know that she played cello, but the minute I did find out, I was like, no, you have to come and play with us. She's fantastic.
We for our
her a lot.
Previous EP, we have 2 songs with Leaf Sorghum, and he plays cello, and we kept trying to convince him.
Yeah, we tried
to
steal
play
him
with
away from
us,
Perry Mouth, and he just wasn't having it.
Yeah, he declined enough times that we kind of gave up, and then it was almost perfect timing that Brooke came along and said, I want to play cello in your band. And we're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. Let's do it.
Did you guys, like you said, you didn't know. So the first time she brought it out there, and tell us about that first time.
Fingers crossed.
It was fingers crossed.
Okay, so
really.
How did it work?
I had never seen her play before. I can't remember. She was in a band called High Strung.
High Strung, yeah. Samantha.
But when I found out that they had broken up, I was like, we kind of pursued her a little bit. Yep, I didn't know. Marie Litton from Pretty Mouth had told me she's really good. So it's kind of on Marie's word.
Shouts out to Marie Litton.
Shouts out, who love dearly. So I trusted her. I definitely trust her. And
most, as far as actual auditions, like what you're asking, it's kind of like writing a song. Like the very first time you start working on it, it doesn't really work very well. It doesn't vibe. And normally within like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something, it starts to sound like a song, or it starts to kind of become cohesive. And it's the same thing with Brooke. When we very first started, like having already worked with cello, it was very natural for us to be like, hey, come play cello. Here's some songs, listen to them. and she fit in really well. And I remember we practiced for 2 hours, and by the end of the second hour, it was very natural.
Nice.
And it was like we were all talking to each other without words. And that's, I think, always the goal as a musician, to find that, especially because we didn't know her very well. So when we stopped playing, it was more awkward than when we were playing, which is, I think, always a good thing. And that, because then you're like, so where are you from? Or whatever horrible conversation you have to come up with. But yeah, I mean, it was great. She's the only person that's really like joined the band, because we kind of, the three of us kind of formed what it is. And we talked about cello for a long time, like even before Leaf did those 2 songs with us. I still like entertain the idea of other people.
He's always trying to add.
So it's kind of, it's still an open.
It's an ever evolving.
A lot of it's a space thing. I think it's.
Yeah, and a people thing. See, my thing is, I liked it with 3. I didn't have a problem with adding a 4th at all. But we have a hard enough time making decisions with 3 of us. It's like, how are we going to do 4?
And practice schedules and transportation and confirming shows and I mean, it's a lot of stuff to.
Tell us a little bit about how you guys handle that, how you schedule it, and how it works out for you.
We do a lot of group texting, which is really irritating, because they will go on for days and days. But it's effective. Everybody can read it, and and everyone's held accountable to reading the messages. You can't be like, "Oh, I didn't get that." It's like, I'd see that you've gotten it. It's the beauty of technology.
You can't lie on that one, man. You can't cheat on that one.
Yeah,
indeed. Sure. We're talking with Dead Orchids, or at least one half of Dead Orchids. It's Robin and Danny. And Robin, tell us a little bit about what you do besides play that kick drum and the hi-hat. I think it's a hi-hat, right? You got the hi-hat?
Yeah, I have a hi-hat, and I have some tambourines on it.
No, that's
hi-hat
what it
stand.
is.
Yeah. I play bass, and I actually started playing piano when I was really little, and then I kind of moved into guitar in my preteens. And it's pretty funny, because one day I came in and my guitar teacher said, "Robin, maybe you should try playing the bass," because I was no good at guitar at all.
Really?
He was just like, "Yeah, stop wasting my time, please." So here he gave me a guitar with less strings, a little easier to play. So and it was right up my alley. So I've been playing it off and on for a long time, and it's what I love.
I like how you do it, because, well, again, folks, check them out live. You're going to love the configuration. One of the few basses I've seen that has to just sit down.
Yeah.
And, and I mean, Dead Orchids with this band, there's not a whole lot of moving around, because you guys are kind of have to be stationary because of the drums. But the thing is, that's cool. It's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there's, when you go to see a show like yours, it's really about the music and not so much about the lights and the show. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, you guys.
And we think and talk about that stuff all the time. What is it that we can like probably any band does? How are we going to get their attention? If we can't, we don't have antics on stage antics.
Although
you Joe, if you want to watch Joe, he's pretty entertaining.
He's a very animated drummer.
He really is.
But it is.
So we're always trying to kick stuff around. Like, what do we got to do to catch their attention? So it's got to be with the sound, basically. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. We're just not relying on the antics of what you do in a punk band or whatever. Like, we can't do that, nor do we want to do that. It's basically the music kind of does it for you. Like, it's extremely intense and like exciting. We do a lot of noise, and we like blend songs together. We do a lot of stuff. So really, like, you can absorb yourself into it the same way you could be absorbed into seeing like Kiss or something. I'm sure that's the exact opposite of good music, dare I say. But they're to watch.
To each their own.
But to watch, they're super entertaining. Or any band like that. I mean, that's like the extreme side of that I can think of.
But maybe in the future, some explosions and stuff like that.
Oh, sure. Some pyrotechnics.
Dancing girls, dancing boys.
There you go, man. Equal opportunity all the way, no doubt about it. Absolutely. It is Dead Orchids. It's Robin and Danny, and we're chopping it right on up here in the Freeza Block, man. Good stuff. Make sure to check out their Facebook page and give them the thumbing and the liking, and go to their website as well, and you can check out a lot more of their music than we have today. So good stuff, man. I do appreciate you guys coming on in, man. We were talking a little bit during the song about, you know, the music scene here and how you guys kind of fit in with it and or don't fit in with it, and kind of elaborate a little bit on what we were talking about there during the song.
We haven't really figured out where we fit in very well. It's because the style of music we do isn't so classified, I guess. It's like bands have a hard time playing with you, or sometimes they do, or promoters. We played a show with it was at Lost Lake, and it was a great show, and we had a great time. There's a ton of people, but the band was like doing flamenca. Remember the girl and the guy? Escondido. Yeah.
Nice.
And they're doing like country kind of flamenca. They're from Nashville. They had these like pink suits, one-piece suits on. Nothing like us. I mean, it's fun to do, but it was weird. We played with metal bands. We played with rock bands, indie rock bands, like kind of all over the place. And we like playing with everybody. It's just a lot of times there's a big difference. Like if you have a band that's playing super loud rock music, and then we come on and play like 30 seconds of just like me singing with a guitar or something, like you can tell people are like, oh my God. And, you know, they're freaking out. I mean, it's
my drink is empty.
Yeah. It's like, I have to pee all of a sudden. Like, and which is understandable. I mean, you know, same thing, like you said, to each their own, but it's interesting kind of trying to find the niche
that was
of where we are in that.
That was probably the most eclectic, I guess, stage or show that you guys have played on, or is it kind of like that on a most regular basis?
Most regular basis. Like we play some shows with friends, but we try and not get too carried away with that, because it seems like you just end up playing for the same people. We really like playing for different audiences, different venues. We like to mix it up as much as we can within reason. Like we need a fair amount of space, because there's 4 of us, and like a cello, the bow takes up a lot of space. You would never think about that until she's sitting next to you, and then you're like, oh wow, you're gonna poke me with that. Mm-hmm. And you know, and the hi-hats, and like, so I mean, it's not like we're gonna play on any like bar or something like that, but we really like to be able to present ourselves how we need to be presented. I guess we've played some places where we should not have played and will not play anymore, and then there's places we love to play, like Goosetown Tavern. Absolutely one of our favorites. Joe Ramirez.
Shouts out to Goosetown Tavern and Goose Fest. That's where I discovered you guys. And wow, I'm telling you what, when I saw you guys for the first time, I was blown away.
Yeah, we did a good job.
You really did. There you go, man. Let's give you guys some applause. No doubt about it. You don't remember being there even. Wow, that's great. No, man, really, really good stuff. And I truly, truly enjoyed it and was really turned on by what I saw there. I mean, you guys, it was different. It was different. It was good. No doubt about it.
To hear the feedback, for real.
No doubt about it. It's Dead Orchids. It's Danny and Robin, and they're in here chopping it up with us, and we're having a really good time. And it's make sure to check them out. They are on on SoundCloud, or not on SoundCloud, on check out their Facebook page is what I'm trying to say.
Spotify, and Bandcamp, Instagram,
all over the place.
All that stuff.
Indeed. Tell us about how many do you guys just have one set of music out, or you have a lot more? You know, how much music do you guys have out there?
Right now, we just have one EP out that we did probably about 2 years ago now. A lot of things slowed us down. I got in a really bad accident that really slowed us down for like a year and a little bit longer than a year.
Well, do you mind talking a little bit about that? I mean,
no, I was snowboarding and someone blindsided me. The guy was like 2 times the size of me and broke a couple vertebrae. I had to be like flight for life off the mountain, and
wow,
it was a whole deal. And
so basically, are you like kind of lucky to be walking and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, wow. It's definitely a situation where a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, and I could have been paralyzed forever.
Wow,
or dead or something.
That's amazing. And well, tell me, from that, did you kind of do you write and stuff? I mean, is that your deal? How do you guys do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so from that, I mean, did you do a lot of writing and a lot of like, you know, did a lot of content come from that? Is what I'm trying to say.
A lot of content came from that, but a lot of that stuff I actually ended up throwing away. I felt like it was I don't know, it didn't come from the right place, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I write all the time, so I have a really bad habit, I guess, of getting rid of a lot of stuff, or being really picky about music that I am working on. But most of the stuff from that era was just really hard, I guess, I don't know how to describe it. It was hard to try and put into what we were trying to do comfortably, or I didn't want to continue to do it, I guess. Sometimes you write songs, they're good for a time period, but they're not good for a long time. And how we write songs and work on songs, it takes us a while to get it sounding good, like a couple months. And so we worked on stuff, but we threw away every probably 7 of 9 songs we threw away. 2 of them we kept.
Tell us a little bit about the process, the writing process, you know, where it comes from, you know, if you guys just start from a musical beat or a line or from lyrics, or how does it kind of work out for you guys?
Probably 70% of the time it's based on an idea that I have, and then I kind of write the music or parts of it around that. And the other 30% of the time we come up with something that we really like, and then I put lyrics over it, and that kind of helps guide the direction of the song. It really depends on the content. Everything is like, nothing is about me. I don't really like to write songs like that. So a lot of the songs are based on something specific. What we're working on right now is a series of songs about love, which is kind of funny because that's not really our thing. But they're like kind of love, like how you wouldn't normally look at love. Like, it's very deep, personal and unique ways of describing love and talking about love and how that affects you, instead of saying like, I love this chair or something.
Right.
And so that stuff, it kind of, we're writing everything in that vein. So it's like, okay, well, we need a song that's real intense. Okay, then we write that song. And like, so it's kind of a formula, I guess I want to say, at that point. And so now we're just kind of trying to put them all together, get them ready to record them to where we're at now, and release them to the world. Yeah, as this concept that I'm sure people won't understand. But if we put hearts on the cover, I think they'll get it.
That's all that matters. Yeah, no doubt about it. Just put hearts on the cover and make it all simplistic looking. And yeah, that's the way to do it. You guys will be over the top at that point. No doubt about it.
As Danny was saying, like, the writing process for us is long. Like, you know, we can't write a song in an hour or two. It's a process. But not only that, the recording process, we've yet to master that. Like, well, maybe we'll try it like this. Well, that didn't really work. Okay, well, we're going to try it like this. Well, okay, well, that's not right. We're still in the process of trying to figure out what the right way to get our exact sound across.
Yeah, a lot of untraditional stuff is used. We use a ton of room mics, a ton of just really untraditional stuff. The last the EP we did a lot of stuff with we got beads and drug them around and recorded that. We recorded the bass in her basement from like 20 feet away. The whole house was vibrating, so you can literally hear the ceiling vibrating. That's the sound of the distortion from that bass track. I mean, you know, just a lot of really cool stuff. We experiment with kind of breaking stuff, lots of really dirty delays and ambient stuff. And
one of my funnest memories is making a barricade in your driveway, and we just went and bought a bunch of cheap glass and we just were smashing glass.
Yeah.
And it was actually
You had the mic right. You had the mic right in the corner there, and you guys were just
just going to town, breaking all this glass. It was
and
great.
And did you guys end up using that, or is that just still on file for future?
It's on file. It's on file.
It still could surface.
Yeah.
It could still surface.
It's good stuff, man. I'm going to play this track one more time. This is called Heroin. Again, we have Dead Orchids in the studio. It is Dan and Robin, and we thank you guys so much for coming on in.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to play it one more time. This song is called Heroin. Enjoy.
On a repugnance island, heroin of a fading sunset's breath. She whispers to me on and on. Do you want me? Do you want me to love you? Do you want me to hate loving you? And there's no fine lines in love and go on and just kiss me. A little somewhere before I go to sleep. Just one I need you now. Encircle the night with you, and let us push on before there is something new. Look into my eyes. Is this heaven? Is this heaven? I don't know. Just kiss me. Before I go to sleep, just one more.
Great stuff. Heroine, as in a heroine, like a superhero, and
That's right.
it is Dead Orchids in the studio. We're talking with Robin and Dan, and they are kicking it, and we are having a great time, man. Indeed. We were talking a little bit during the song about, it's not. This is one of the very few songs that you sing, Robin, and most of the singing goes to Danny, right?
Yeah, I don't seem to have any control over that. I keep writing songs for her.
Voice than I do.
I keep writing songs for her, and she doesn't want to do them.
Playing bass and singing is really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know if you know who Sting is.
Well, I mean, tell us about like, the fact that, you did sing on this song, and, was it just because it was just sounded right, or, how did it, how did you guys kind of.
We talked about this song has been with us for a long time, and originally was Danny that sang it. And then we tried it as a duet, and it just, for whatever reason, it just never felt, I don't know, done or right or comfortable. And so finally, I think he probably just said, "You're just going to sing it."
Yeah, that is what I said.
And I probably put up a fight.
I said, "What if you just sing it?"
And then that's what happened. So now.
So, but how many songs? Just let us know, how many songs do you sing? You do have a really pretty voice, by the way.
Sing lead. That's the only one she sings lead.
That's the only one. Awesome.
Yeah.
She sings with me a fair amount, though.
Yeah.
And other songs, but.
So what do you think? I mean, what is it like, singing, trying to play bass, trying to keep track of the drums? I mean,
it's
tell us a little.
Yeah.
Are you afraid that you might, be out of step sometimes during a live show or and that kind of stuff?
For me, anyways, I have to stop thinking about it. I can't. The minute I start thinking what I'm doing, I screw it up. So I have to get to a point where it's just natural anymore, especially with like heroin. I can't think about when I'm hitting the cymbals, and I can't think about, I don't think I play better than that.
It's just like muscle memory.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's just like just repetitive.
Can't think about it, or else it just screws me all up.
Awesome.
Pretty much with any song. So.
Well, we're going to go into another one since we did actually find another song here. You have plenty of songs, by the way. How many releases do you guys think we'll have?
Just one right now.
Just the one?
Yep.
Awesome. This song is called Waits. It's Dead Orchids. It's Danny and Robin. And here we go. Uh-oh. There we go.
Tell me the way to lounge your ways. Do they keep you up? Do they bring you down? Tell me the way to lounge your ways. And can you breathe under the water? This is too much to ask. How it is you came to be a star. Your hours a week, limbs still somehow lost in at your feet. And all I hear is just a heartbeat. Tell me the way to lounge your ways. Do they help you flow? Can you
Waits right here in the Freeza Block, milehighunderground.com. Indeed, indeed. Thank you guys so much. It is. There we go. Turn down that monitor a little bit. Indeed, indeed, it is Dead Orchids, or at least one half of Dead Orchids in the studio. It is Danny and Robin. Thank you guys so much for coming on in, man. We really appreciate it. Appreciate the music. Make sure to check these guys out on their Facebook page. Takes you right to their all their links and all that stuff, all the good music you can get to. And make sure to give them some love, because you know you want to love to listen to some more of this music. Indeed. Awesome stuff, man. You guys, again, pop those shows that you guys have coming up here in a little bit.
December 8th in Denver, Hooked on Colfax. December 8th in Pueblo, Rainbow Room.
With Pretty Mouth.
That night. And the 9th at Colorado Springs at Zodiac.
Also with Pretty Mouth.
Awesome. Really good stuff,
catch
man.
us in Denver before the year's over.
Yeah, no doubt about it,
Or
man.
elsewhere.
They are Dead Orchids, and it is a real pleasure to have you guys in and listen to your music. And I hope that the folks that have been listening and watching this will go and check out your stuff and make sure to, and check out the shows.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
Get out
Thanks
there.
again so much for coming on in, man. I guess I'm gonna play this a little bit of this song one more time as an outro. What the hell? Yeah. Hey, man. Next time you guys come in, you'll have a lot more music, and we'll be chopping it up a lot less and a little bit more. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys real quick. Since we still had you here, you guys did a Halloween show. Did you guys dress up?
Oh,
And
yeah.
what were you dressed as?
Clockwork Orange.
Where you guys kind of did a group thing? That's
Yeah,
cool.
we actually
That's really
turned
cool.
Milk
Pretty
and
good.
everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, it
Good
was a lot
stuff,
of fun.
man.
Yeah, it was a lot
Awesome.
of fun.
Indeed. Again, Dead Orchids. And make sure to check them out on our Facebook page, all that good stuff, man. We're going to go ahead and play the song Waits as an outro again, because you guys liked it so much. And hey, I liked it again too, man. I love how your music goes. It starts off kind of mellow and slow, and then it gets real hard, and then it goes back to slow. But not every song is like that.
Right.
And again, if you guys check these guys out live, it's super loud and it's super awesome, man. Indeed. All right, man. Again, Dead Orchids in the studio. Danny and Robin, one half of Dead Orchids. Again, check them out, man. It's all about the promotions and getting these guys out there. Make sure to check out their show in Pueblo. And where's that other show again that's in Denver? Colorado Springs, and then Pueblo, right? And it's all the same.
December 8th and 9th. Yeah.
December 8th and 9th, man. Make sure to check them out. Indeed, indeed. We're and make sure to check me out. Check out the Freeza Block page on YouTube. Check out the Freeza Block channel on YouTube. Freeza Block page on Facebook. Oh, yes, I can get it all straightened out of my head. I can get it going, man. And again, the same thing with Dead Orchids, man. We're going to say goodbye and listen to this song again. This is called Waits. It's Dead Orchids. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week. We have Mano Verde in the studio. Have a great one.
Love.
All right, this is the best part of the show. We actually didn't even talk about how we were going to do this promo. So I'm just going to have you guys just repeat after me. And first of all, I want you guys to say your names, like say it all exciting, like, hi, I'm Robin. Hi, I'm Danny. You know, like you want people to.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Robin.
All right, and one of you guys, and we're Dead Orchids or part of Dead Orchids or whatever. We're from Dead Orchids. How about that?
We're from Dead Orchids.
All right. And okay, I want Robin to say this. And we're melting it down to 0.
Just that. And we're melting it down to 0.
On the Freeza Block show.
On the Freezer Block. Oh.
You can say it.
On the Freezer Block show.
One more time, clean.
On the Freezer. On the Freezer Block show.
All right, and then on 3, 1, 2, 3, we all say milehighunderground.com. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
milehighunderground.com.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks again so much, Dead Orchids. All right, and now back to our regularly scheduled music. Hope everybody loves it. I know I will. Oops. Oh, man. I'm telling you what, I'm so shot out of a cannon. I get it everything wrong every time, man. And again, back to your regularly scheduled music.